Before we start, I want to say that only 1% of you are subscribed. Please subscribe because when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I will post a special video for you. John's shuttle descended to the swirling mist of the alien planet, the exterior cameras feeding vibrant images of the verdant landscape below to the monitors inside. As the landing gears deployed with a hydraulic hiss, his crew's chatter filled the compact space, a mix of anticipation and professional focus. "All right, team, remember, this is uncharted territory," John announced, securing his helmet. "Stay alert and keep communications open. We're not here to intrude. We're here to learn." Beside him, Michael, a seasoned engineer with a knack for xenobiology, nodded. "I've got the scanners ready. Hopefully, we get a clearer picture of what's out there," he said, his eyes scanning the readings flickering across the screen. The shuttle touched down with a gentle jolt. Outside, the landscape was breathtaking, a vast expanse of towering flora unlike anything Earth had seen. The air was thick with a sweet, tangy scent of alien foliage. "Wow, look at that!" exclaimed Alex, their botanist, pointing to a cluster of luminescent plants near the shuttle. "I need samples of those. They could be photosynthesizing through bioluminescence." John led the team out of the shuttle, stepping onto the spongy soil. "Stay within sight and don't engage with any wildlife unless necessary," he instructed, his voice muffled through the helmet. They split up, adhering to John's protocols, documenting everything. John ventured toward a nearby stream, his boots squelching softly in the mud. The reflection of the strange, twin suns danced on the water's surface, painting everything in hues of gold and azure. Suddenly, a rustle from the underbrush caught his attention. He turned, hand instinctively going to the sidearm at his belt. An alien creature emerged, its skin shimmering with iridescent scales, eyes wide and cautious. It was humanoid, standing on lithe limbs, with an elegance that reminded him of Earth's gazelles. "Easy there," John murmured, holding out a hand, palm up, in a universally recognized gesture of peace. "I'm not here to hurt you." The alien watched him, head tilted, then mimicked his gesture, raising a hand slowly. "My name is John," he continued, keeping his voice gentle. "John Reed." "Serena," the creature responded, her voice a melodic chime that resonated with a subtle vibration. Michael approached cautiously, observing the interaction with keen interest. "John, you okay?" he asked through the comm link. "Yes, we're communicating," John replied, not taking his eyes off Serena. "She understands us." Serena stepped closer, her movements graceful and fluid. "You are human?" Her comment was broken, but understandable. "That's right." John smiled under his helmet, wishing he could show a friendly face. "We come from Earth. Why come here?" Serena's gaze shifted between John and Michael, her posture still tense but curious. "We're explorers," Michael chimed in, stepping beside John. "We study planets and cultures. Learn from them." Serena's eyes lit with a mixture of apprehension and intrigue. "Many stories told of others who came with fire and shadow," she said, her voice low. "You bring no fire?" "No fire," John reassured, slowly unclasping his helmet and lifting it off. His face now fully visible, he smiled. "Only curiosity and a desire to make friends." Her gaze lingered on his face, studying his features intently. Slowly, a smile crept over her lips. "Curiosity," she echoed. "It can be a bridge." "Yes, a bridge," John agreed, delighted by the metaphor. "Exactly what we're hoping to build here." Serena nodded, stepping back to communicate through her own device, likely informing her people of this peaceful encounter. John turned to Michael, his eyes shining with the thrill of successful first contact. "Let's get the others. We need to document everything. This is just a beginning." As they walked back to the shuttle to gather their equipment, John couldn't help but feel that this mission might just redefine humanity's place in the cosmos. Back at the shuttle, John briefed his team on the encounter with Serena. The mood was electric. Everyone was eager to learn more about the native inhabitants and their culture. Let's keep our approach friendly and non-threatening, John reiterated as they prepared to head back out. Beside him, his deputy, Rick, a communications expert, loaded linguistic software onto a portable device. Got the language translator updated with what we recorded from Surina. Rick said, checking the screen. It's rudimentary, but it should help bridge the gap. Alex, carrying his equipment for collecting plant samples, nodded. I'll focus on the flora. Maybe understanding their ecosystem will provide insights into their culture too. The team ventured towards a village Surina mentioned, located near the base of a large, tree-covered hill. As they approached, they saw structures built in harmony with nature, blending seamlessly into the surroundings. The villagers, similar in appearance to Surina, watched curiously but kept their distance. Surina emerged from a large central building, accompanied by an elder. She greeted the humans with a cautious smile. "This is Moreau, our leader," she introduced. John stepped forward, offering a polite bow, an action Rick suggested might be seen as a respectful greeting. "We are honored to be here, Moreau," John said, glancing at Rick, who monitored the translation device. Moreau nodded, his voice deep and resonant. "Your arrival brings much curiosity. We know of others from the stars. Your kind does not hide its presence." "It's true. We've been exploring space for some time now," John acknowledged. "We come in peace, seeking only knowledge and friendship." Moreau studied them, his gaze piercing yet not unkind. "And what do you offer in return for our knowledge?" John exchanged a look with Rick, who nodded subtly. "We offer our knowledge as well, information about our world, technology that might assist you, and, most importantly, our friendship." Surina translated this, and a murmur rippled through the gathered villagers. Moreau seemed to consider this for a moment, then gestured for them to follow him. As they walked through the village, children peeked from behind buildings, and adults watched from a distance. Moreau led them to a structure that looked like a communal hall. Inside, artifacts adorned the walls, and technological devices, surprisingly advanced, were evident. "Your technology is impressive," Michael commented, examining a device that resembled a solar panel. "We have similar, but maybe there are things we can learn from each other." Moreau nodded. "We have learned to harness the power of our suns efficiently. Survival requires adaptation." The conversation shifted as they sat down around a large, circular table. Moreau initiated a more formal exchange, asking about Earth, its cultures, and its technologies. John and Rick took turns speaking, using the translator to aid their discussion. As they talked, Surina facilitated, helping both sides adjust to the nuances lost in translation. She was quick to pick up English phrases, repeating them with a keen interest in getting them right. "Your interest in learning our languages is appreciated," Rick said to Surina, who smiled at the compliment. "It is necessary," she replied. "Understanding grows in the soil of communication." John smiled, feeling a sense of achievement. "We could not agree more." As the meeting concluded, Moreau stood, signaling the end of the formal discussion. "We will consider this exchange the beginning of a dialogue," he declared. "Let us learn from each other, without fear." "Without fear," John echoed, feeling the weight of the moment. This meeting could indeed be the beginning of something profound, a true exchange of worlds. As the team walked back to the shuttle under the light of setting suns, John couldn't help but feel optimistic about the future. They had made significant headway, not just in establishing a dialogue, but in laying the groundwork for a meaningful exchange. The path ahead was promising, filled with the potential of new friendships and deepened understanding. The morning after their pivotal meeting with Moreau, John and his team prepared for a day of joint activities with some of the villagers, aimed at deepening their understanding of the planet's environment and its people. "All right, let's split up into pairs. Alex, you're with Tolan, one of their botanists," John instructed, pointing to a slender alien with a friendly demeanor waiting nearby. Alex nodded enthusiastically, grabbing his gear. "Looking forward to learning about your plants, Tolan." Tolan's mouth curved in what appeared to be a smile. "And I am curious about Earth's flora." Meanwhile, John paired up with Surina. Shall we explore the river ecosystem you mentioned yesterday? He suggested. Yes, it is a good place to start, Serena agreed, leading the way. As they walked toward the river, John noticed the lush vegetation teeming with life. Your planet is beautiful, he commented, his eyes scanning the landscape. Thank you, John. It sustains us, teaches us, Serena responded, her tone proud yet gentle. At the river, John knelt to collect water samples, while Serena explained the significance of the river to her people. It is the lifeblood of our village. The waters predict the seasons and nourish our crops. John listened intently, taking notes. Water is a crucial resource for us too. Different planets, similar challenges. They spent the next few hours exchanging knowledge about water filtration techniques, with John demonstrating a portable purifier and Serena showing natural methods using certain sand layers found along the riverbank. Elsewhere, Alex and Tolan were deeply engrossed in botanical studies. Alex shared a digital herbarium from Earth, while Tolan introduced him to a variety of native plants, explaining their uses in medicine and cuisine. This is remarkable, Alex exclaimed, examining a leaf that Tolan claimed could cure minor burns. We have similar plants, but their properties are not as potent. Tolan nodded, pleased. Nature gives us what we need, and sharing knowledge enhances its value. Back at the river, John and Serena continued their discussion on conservation efforts. John outlined Earth's struggles with pollution and conservation, while Serena listened, her expression thoughtful. We face similar issues, she admitted. Perhaps we can learn from each other's mistakes and successes. I believe we can, John said, hopeful. Maybe even collaborate on sustainable practices. The day passed with productive exchanges, and as the suns began to set, the team gathered to discuss their findings and experiences. Rick, who had spent the day with a local historian learning the planet's history, shared insights about the societal evolution of Serena's people. They have a fascinating history, full of learning and adaptation. There's much we can learn from their archival methods alone. Michael, who had been with a local engineer exploring energy solutions, was equally enthusiastic. Their solar technology is more advanced than ours in some ways. They use a crystalline material that's incredibly efficient at capturing solar energy. As the team shared stories, John felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Not only were they gathering invaluable scientific and cultural data, but they were also building a foundation of trust and cooperation with Serena's people. This has been an incredibly productive day, John concluded, looking around at his team and the villagers who had joined them. Let's keep this momentum going. Tomorrow, we'll continue with the cultural exchange, focusing on art and music. It's another universal language. The villagers nodded in agreement, and Serena spoke up. Yes, art and music speak to the heart. We are eager to share ours with you. As they headed back to their temporary camp, the air was filled with a sense of mutual respect and anticipation for the days ahead. The barriers between them, once formidable, were slowly dissolving, replaced by bridges of friendship and shared purpose. As evening descended on the alien planet, the human team and their new friends gathered around a crackling fire outside the village. The atmosphere was relaxed, with a palpable sense of camaraderie in the air. Today's focus was on the exchange of artistic and musical traditions, a universal language that transcended words. John and Serena sat side by side, sharing a log as a bench. Across from them, Rick and a local musician named Kian set up a small sound system to record and share music from both cultures. So, what kind of music is popular among your people? Rick asked Kian, adjusting the microphone in front of a strange stringed instrument. Kian plucked a few strings, producing a melodious sound that seemed to resonate with the surrounding nature. Our music seeks harmony with the environment. It changes with the seasons, he explained, his fingers deftly moving over the instrument. That's fascinating, Rick replied, genuinely intrigued. We have something similar on Earth. Certain music is associated with different times of the year, especially during celebrations. Meanwhile, John turned to Serena, watching the preparations with interest. Music seems to hold a special place in your culture, he noted. Yes, It is the voice of our ancestors in our land, Serena responded. It tells stories of our past and hopes for our future. John smiled. Music does much the same for us. It's a way to remember and to dream. As Kian began to play a traditional melody, Michael and Alex joined with a small drum and a handheld synthesizer they had brought from Earth. The blending of the alien chords with human rhythms created a unique fusion that captivated all present. "This is incredible," Alex said, tapping along with the beat. "It's like our instruments were made to play together." Michael laughed, adding a soft bass line that complemented the alien music. Maybe they were at some cosmic level. The evening progressed with each group taking turns to showcase their artistic expressions. John and his team presented classical Earth music, ranging from Bach to the Beatles, while the villagers shared their own musical heritage, full of complex harmonies and rhythms that spoke of their planet's rich biodiversity. After the musical exchange, the gathering shifted focus to visual art. Tolan brought out several intricate paintings that depicted various aspects of their planet's history and mythology. "These are incredible," John remarked, examining a canvas that showed a detailed depiction of a historical event similar to a festival. "Each painting tells a part of our story," Tolan explained, pointing to different elements in the artwork. "This festival celebrates the alignment of our moons, which brings a season of fertility and renewal." Rick, who had been setting up a projector, invited the villagers to watch a slideshow of Earth art history, featuring works from different cultures and eras. "Art is a window into a culture's soul," he commented as images from Van Gogh, Picasso, and Hokusai filled the screen. The villagers were particularly taken with the concept of abstract art, which was new to them. Kian, the musician, expressed a desire to try incorporating abstract elements into his music, inspired by the visual art. As the night drew to a close, John stood, raising his glass in a toast. "To new friends and new understandings. May our shared experiences tonight inspire us all to create and dream even more boldly." "Hear, hear," the team echoed, the villagers nodding in agreement and mimicking the gesture with their own cups. Serena looked at John, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Thank you for this night, John. Your music, your art. It speaks deeply to us." John smiled, feeling a profound connection. "And yours to us. We have much to learn from each other." As they doused a fire and said their goodnights, the bonds formed through the shared celebration of culture promised to endure, paving the way for a deeper, more meaningful collaboration in the days to come. The following morning, the air was crisp and filled with the fresh scent of alien flowers as the sun rose over the horizon. John and his team, energized by last night's cultural exchange, were ready for a day of collaborative learning about local technologies and techniques, especially those related to environmental conservation. John paired up with Serena again, while Michael teamed up with Joran, a village elder known for his expertise in environmental management. They gathered by the edge of the village, where the terrain transitioned into a lush forest. "Today, we'll share how we manage our natural resources sustainably," Joran explained, leading Michael into the forest. "Our survival depends on it." Michael, always keen on learning new ecological strategies, followed eagerly. "On Earth, we're still learning to balance development with nature. What's your approach here?" Joran stopped by a large plant with broad, shimmering leaves. "First, we use what the forest gives without taking too much. This plant, for example, provides material for building and medicine, but only in sustainable amounts." Meanwhile, John and Serena approached a series of small, cleverly designed water channels that ran from the river they had visited the previous day. "These channels help distribute water during dry periods," Serena explained. "They're based on ancient designs but modified over generations." John inspected the channels, impressed by the simplicity and efficiency of the design. "We have similar systems, but yours seem to integrate better with the surroundings." "Yes, it's vital that our solutions work with nature, not against it," Serena said, watching a butterfly flutter by. "It's about understanding and respect." The two groups reconvened for lunch by the river, sharing food brought from the village, and discussing what they had learned so far. The conversation turned to technology, with each side curious about the other's advancements. "So, how do you power these water systems?" John asked, taking a bite of a savory, spiced vegetable dish Serena had introduced him to. "Solar mostly, but we also use the river's current," Joran interjected, his eyes twinkling with pride. "We've developed turbines that are almost completely silent and don't disrupt wildlife." Michael, who had a background in renewable energy systems, was intrigued. "Silent turbines? That's impressive. Noise pollution is a big problem with many of our systems." Joran nodded, pleased with the interest. "Perhaps we can show you the designs later. Maybe there's room for improvement with a fresh perspective." As they wrapped up their meal, John suggested a hands-on demonstration of human technology. "We brought a compact water purification unit. It might be interesting for you to see how it works." Serena agreed enthusiastically. "Yes, let's continue this exchange. I believe both sides have much to gain." The afternoon was spent by the riverbank, where John set up the purification unit. He explained its function and mechanics, demonstrating its efficiency by purifying a sample of river water. Serena watched closely, asking detailed questions about the filters and power source. "Could this be scaled up for larger volumes?" she inquired, thinking of potential applications for her community. "It can," John confirmed, sketching a rough diagram in the dirt to explain. "We can share the designs and help you adapt it to your needs." As the suns began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet, the group felt a shared sense of achievement and potential. They had not only exchanged knowledge, but also laid the groundwork for joint ventures that could benefit both their communities. "Today has been invaluable," John said as they packed up their equipment. "Your openness and willingness to share have made all the difference." Serena smiled, her expression one of mutual respect and budding friendship. "And your willingness to listen and adapt is equally valuable. We look forward to more days like this." As they walked back to the village, the fading light cast long shadows on the path, symbolizing the merging of two worlds through collaboration and understanding, a partnership that promised to grow as they continued to explore and learn from each other. Under the soft glow of the morning suns, the village was bustling with activity as the humans and their alien friends prepared for another day of shared knowledge and exploration. Today's agenda focused on deeper technological exchanges and potential collaborative projects. John gathered his team for a quick briefing. "Let's make sure we document everything. The technology exchanges today could be crucial for our reports back home, and we need detailed records." Alex and Rick nodded in agreement, their devices ready to capture every detail. Michael paired up with a local technologist, Dallin, who had expressed interest in human computing systems. "We've heard about your data processing technologies," Dallin said as they walked towards his workshop. "Our systems are efficient but somewhat isolated." Michael, carrying a lightweight laptop, was eager to share. "Let's start with the basics of our internet. It's a global network connecting millions of computers." Dallin's workshop was filled with gadgets and tools, many emitting gentle, pulsating lights. "A global network," he murmured, intrigued. "Our networks are local, designed for community use. How does yours handle security and privacy?" As Michael set up his laptop, he explained the concepts of encryption, firewalls, and antivirus software. "Security is a big concern. We constantly develop new methods to protect data." Dallin listened intently, his eyes reflecting the glow of the screen. "Fascinating. We have similar concerns, but on a smaller scale." Meanwhile, John and Serena met with the village's chief agricultural officer to discuss hybrid energy systems that could benefit agricultural practices. "The key is efficiency and sustainability," John explained, showing diagrams and data on a portable projector. "Combining solar with wind and even bioenergy can yield better results." The officer, a tall, wiry individual named Soren, was particularly interested in bioenergy. "We've experimented with bioreactors using waste materials." "How do you optimize output?" John detailed the process, discussing the balance of nutrients and the types of bacteria used in Earth's bioreactors. Serena translated, ensuring Soren grasped the finer points of the technology. Back in Dallin's workshop, Rick joined Michael, bringing with him a small drone. We use these for aerial surveys and data collection. Could be useful for your environmental monitoring. Dallin was captivated as Rick demonstrated the drone's capabilities, controlling it with a small remote. This can provide real-time data? Exactly, Rick confirmed, landing the drone smoothly on the workshop table. It can map terrain, monitor weather patterns, and even track wildlife migrations. Dallin nodded thoughtfully. We have monitoring satellites, but they're limited. This could fill many gaps. As the afternoon progressed, the group reconvened in the village center, where John proposed a collaborative project based on the day's discussions. With what we've learned from each other, he started, addressing the gathered villagers and his team. I believe we can initiate a pilot project. Combining our drone technology with your environmental techniques could lead to significant advancements in both our worlds. Serena, who had been a bridge between the two cultures, added, it's more than technology. It's about a shared vision for a better future. The villagers murmured in agreement, and Moreau, who had been listening intently, finally spoke. Let this project be a symbol of our cooperation. We have much to learn from each other, and together we can achieve great things. The meeting ended with a sense of accomplishment and anticipation. Plans were made to start the collaborative project, with both sides committing resources and knowledge. As the sun set, casting long shadows and bathing the village in golden light, John and his team felt a profound connection to this alien community. They had come as strangers, but were now partners, united by a common goal to forge a better future through shared knowledge and technology. As dusk fell on the alien planet, John and his team, along with their village counterparts, gathered around the newly established collaborative workspace near the river. The environment buzzed with a sense of excitement and curiosity as both humans and aliens prepared to launch their joint pilot project the following day. Rick was setting up the last of the communication equipment, a critical component that would allow for seamless data exchange between the humans and aliens' technologies. This will ensure we stay connected, sharing real-time data and insights, he explained to Dallin, who was assisting him. Dallin, now familiar with the technology, nodded. Your communication systems are impressive. Ours are quite effective locally, but the range and versatility of yours are superior. Nearby, Michael and Soren were discussing the integration of human bioenergy techniques with the village's existing agricultural systems. By combining our bioreactive systems with your agricultural practices, we could increase yields and improve energy efficiency, Michael suggested, sketching out a simple diagram on his tablet. Soren, taking the tablet, studied the diagram intently. It's a good plan. Our systems are compatible, and with a few adjustments, we can begin testing by the next growing season. In the background, John and Serena oversaw the preparations, ensuring everything was set for the morning. Serena, who had grown increasingly comfortable with her role as a liaison, was clearly pleased with the progress. It's amazing to see how much we can accomplish when we work together, she remarked to John as they walked along the riverbank. True cooperation, John agreed, watching the sunset paint the sky with hues of pink and purple. It's not just about technology and knowledge, but about building trust and understanding. Serena smiled, her eyes reflecting the fading light. And perhaps building friendships that last beyond our projects. Their conversation drifted to more personal topics, discussing their hopes for the future and the impact of their work on both their communities. The relaxed atmosphere allowed them to explore their thoughts and feelings more openly than before. Back at the workspace, Alex and a local technician named Lyra were calibrating a series of environmental sensors. Alex, who had taken a particular interest in the planet's unique ecosystem, was eager to see how the combined technology would work in the field. Once we get the sensors up and running, we'll have a much clearer picture of how the local environment reacts to our interventions, Alex explained, adjusting a sensor node. Lyra, who had been a quick study, added, and with the data we gather, we can make informed decisions about scaling up our efforts. As night deepened, the team and their village partners gathered for a small celebration by the workspace. The villagers had prepared a feast, and there was light music playing in the background, a mix of human and alien tunes that had become a favorite during their evenings together. John raised his glass in a toast to new beginnings and successful collaborations. May our project thrive and bring prosperity to all involved. Cheers to that. Rick joined in and the rest followed suit, echoing the sentiment. The evening was filled with laughter and shared stories, deepening the bonds that had been forming over their time together. It was clear that what had started as a simple exchange of knowledge had blossomed into something much more meaningful. As the party wound down, John and Serena found themselves back by the river, watching the reflection of the twin moons on the water. Tomorrow is a big day, John noted, the promise of their project's launch filling him with a mixture of anticipation and pride. Serena nodded, her hand brushing his. Thanks to your team and my people working together, it will be a success. I'm sure of it. The promise of the night was one of hope and expectation, a fitting prelude to the dawn of their new venture. As they headed back to join the others, the clear night sky and the gentle flow of the river seemed to affirm the rightness of their path forward. The first rays of sunlight filtered through the alien trees, casting long shadows and bathing the collaborative workspace in a warm, inviting glow. The entire team, both human and alien, gathered around the central module where the combined technologies of Earth and the alien planet would officially come online. John, alongside Serena and Moreau, stood at the forefront, ready to initiate the system that symbolized a new era of cooperation and shared knowledge. Today, we see the fruits of our labor, a testament to what can be achieved when we work together, John announced to the crowd, his voice filled with excitement and pride. Moreau nodded, his expression solemn yet hopeful. This project is not just a merging of technologies, but of cultures and spirits. Let us move forward with the same spirit of unity. Rick, standing by the control panel, gave John a nod. Everything's ready on our end, John. Shall we? John turned to Serena. Would you do us the honor? With a gentle smile, Serena stepped forward and pressed the activation sequence. A hum filled the air as the system came to life, lights blinking in sequence and screens displaying streams of data. It's working, Alex called out, checking the readouts from the environmental sensors. The integration is seamless. Michael and Soren, who had been instrumental in integrating the bioenergy components, exchanged high fives. We're already seeing efficiency improvements in the readouts. This is going to change everything, Michael said, his voice tinged with enthusiasm. Dallin, who had taken a particular interest in the human computing systems, was busy monitoring the network interfaces with Rick. Look at this data throughput. It's more than we expected, Dallin pointed out, his tone a mix of surprise and delight. The morning progressed with demonstrations for the villagers, showing how the technology would benefit agriculture, energy, and environmental management. Children watched with wide-eyed wonder as drones flew overhead, mapping the nearby fields and forests. As the official proceedings came to a close, John and Serena took a moment to walk along the river, watching as the water reflected the successful integration of their worlds. What we've started here, John said, it's going to serve as a bridge, not just for us but for generations to come. Serena looked up at him, her eyes reflecting the twin suns. And to think, this all began with a simple act of trust and curiosity. What a journey it has been. The best journeys are those we never expected to take, John replied, his gaze meeting hers. From apprehension to this, a partnership that stands to benefit all. Back at the celebration, the atmosphere was festive. Food was shared and music played, a blend of earth tunes and alien melodies, creating a unique soundtrack to their success. Laughter and conversation filled the air with every individual, whether human or alien, partaking in the joy of their collective achievement. As the day wore on, plans were made for the future, discussing expansions of the project and new areas of cooperation. The initial success had opened many doors, and both sides were eager to explore them. As the sun set on this significant day, the team gathered for one last celebration toast. John looked around at all the faces, both human and alien, and felt a profound sense of fulfillment. To a successful project and a future filled with promise, John toasted, raising his glass. To new beginnings and lasting friendships, Serena added, her voice clear and strong. The group cheered, their voices echoing into the evening. As the stars began to appear in the night sky, reflecting off the serene river, there was a universal feeling of accomplishment and anticipation. This new dawn was not just a new day on an alien planet. It was the dawn of a new era for everyone involved. The bonds formed here, under the light of unfamiliar stars and through the collaboration of different worlds, were destined to last, fostering a legacy of cooperation and mutual growth that would echo through the ages.